Guys, good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. Here's hoping that you are having a decent day, and here's hoping that you're still keeping safe. Because as much as you'd like for COVID 19 to be a hoax, it is not a hoax. There are reports coming out of some people who survive COVID 19 but go on to develop cardiac problems, right? So be careful. Try not to get this disease. And if you do get it, try not to infect more people with this disease. Like you heard on the news today, Trump sent us those ventilators. Remember, in April, President Trump promised to send 200 ventilators to Nigeria to help fight COVID 19. And now they're here. Took them a few months, but now them. Now, of course, the big question is have enough trained personnel to operate them when they're needed. But that's a conversation for a different day. Let's take our wins, shall we? Huh? Now, I know how to operate the hard facts machine for all 630,000 of you, starting with the big three. Let's talk about the musician sentenced to death in Kano for blasphemy. And then we're going to talk about police extorting 300,000 naira from innocent men, taking their mother to the hospital. And we'll talk about the Chrisland rape case. The mother of the survivor has spoken out about how they were alienated. Now, on today's Community U report, Chukwudi is still going to stay on the school resumption story. He's going to be talking to a few moms and students about their experience, and dads as well, parents really, about their experience since schools have resumed. Today's the second day in the second week since the resumption of schools, with SS3 students at least. On today's Big Hard Fact, let's talk about the expected new regulations against ride-hailing apps. That conversation will happen at 5. Don't miss it. As usual, there's news updates at the top of every hour. There's also just a minute coming your way, but let's get into the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Should acts protected by the Constitution be crimes under Sharia? How do we stop extortion by rogue police officers? And how do we protect children from rape when so many people don't believe them? Those are the big three. Let's talk. A man in Kano has been sentenced to death for blasphemy. His name is Yahaya Sharif Aminu, and he's a musician. He actually sings religious music, Tijaniya music. Tijaniya is a sect in Islam, and apparently he wrote a song that praised a particular Tijaniya imam. And apparently in that song, he praised the imam as being greater than the prophet. And some Muslims were outraged by this. They were so outraged in March, they protested in Kano. The protesters burned down his family house. They also demanded that the Hizbah arrest him. The Hizbah is the security force that enforces Sharia law. And guess what? Hizbah did arrest this man, and he was taken to a Sharia court, and he was charged with blasphemy. And now he's been found guilty, and he's been sentenced to death. Now, let me point out that Sharia sentences can be appealed to the secular court of appeal. So we're going to keep watching to see if that happens here. Also, let me point out that there have been many death sentences passed under Sharia law, but only one has ever been carried out. That's because before you can execute somebody, you still need the state governor to sign the death warrant. And usually they simply refuse to. So in all probability, Yahaya Sharif Aminu will not die, in all probability. But the question still remains, should he have been sentenced to death to begin with? Because let's remember, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Any law code must conform to the Constitution. And the Constitution says Nigerians have freedom of expression. Now, before coming on air, I spoke to a few lawyers and they said you cannot sentence a man to death for expressing an opinion, no matter how offensive that opinion is to somebody else or even to a religion. Basically, those lawyers said to me, Sandra, the Constitution doesn't say freedom of expression except for blasphemy. And so nobody should be named a criminal for blaspheming, to say nothing of being killed. And this actually brings up a bigger constitutional issue. Should Sharia courts be able to enforce Sharia criminal laws? Because if the Constitution says an activity is okay, how can another law call it illegal? Now, I also spoke to a few supporters of Sharia law, and they say that this is not a problem since it only applies to Muslims. Muslims have accepted the religion, and with it, they've accepted Sharia law. So any punishment cannot be called a violation of their rights because they willingly gave up their rights. To that, I heard some critics say that if that is the case, why does the Sharia punish apostasy? Apostasy is when somebody leaves their religion, but under Sharia, it is illegal for a Muslim to leave their religion. But if Sharia supporters are insisting that it is legal since Muslims chose what they did, chose to be Muslims, why would they advocate punishing a Muslim for wanting to leave? So there are so many angles to this. There are so many different angles to this conversation. But the most important thing is Yahaya's situation. What do you think about that? He's a 22-year-old man. 22. What do you think about blasphemy being punishable by death? On social media, there's already a lot of backlash. People are tweeting about this on Twitter. People are even pulling up old tweets of some of the president's aides. One of them is his new media aide. And he tweeted something back in 2015 during the Kano 9 situation where he was in support of the death sentence for people who blaspheme. What do you think about blasphemy being punishable at all? And then what do you think about blasphemy being punishable by death? When a legal code clashes with the Constitution, what do you think should happen? 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. You can also send us your thoughts via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. 080 959 75805. And you can share as well on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're streaming live. And you can share on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. We're also streaming on YouTube, by the way. I always forget to mention YouTube, but we're streaming there. And YouTube is Nigeria Info FM as well. What do you think of Yahaya's situation? I'm going to limit your phone call to 2 minutes, so try and finish up what you're going to say in 2 minutes. 99.3, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
My name is David.
David, good to have you on the show. Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, I don't know how we cannot interpret our Constitution very correctly. Like what I know is that we have the federal law, which is the Constitution, and the state law has to be in conformity with the federal law. Then the local government law has to be in conformity with the state law. So likewise, when we have a community or customary law, they have to be in conformity with the higher ones. So, I mean, this is what is obtainable. Then, again, I believe that, like I know in the case... Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Like I know in the case of church, you do register when you want to set up a church, you do register with CAC. I want to believe the same thing should be applicable to other religion, so that you state the way you operate when you are in your constitution, when you are registering with CAC. All these things are supposed to be taken care of in all those areas. That's my take on it.
Thank you for calling to church. Dowale is in Ikeja. Hello, Dowale. Thanks for calling. Dowale, are you there? Oh, Dowale, sorry about that. Call back if you can. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. Let's talk to Chuka. Hello, Chuka in Festac. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon, Chika.
I think it's a very dicey situation that we found ourselves in. And I would like to liken this to dual legal system of our country. I call it dual legal system in the sense that the Constitution does a crime norm. It baffles me when we begin to have some kind of legal code actually superseding the Constitution. And this is not the first time that this is happening. I mean, we've had several cases whereby people got incarcerated or got mob justice just because they label or they tend to criticize the Prophet Muhammad. And the authorities, the government they've always kept quiet about this. And the question I would always ask myself is that for how long are we going to have this? It's not only in religion, even in some aspect of our national life. We begin to see that some things are not just upright at all. They are not just the way it's meant to be. We have issue of federal character. But under this administration, we find the president actually going contrary to the principle of federal character in some of the appointments that he has made. Now, this young man has been incarcerated. He has been sentenced to death. Even though we know that state governors are often shy away from signing the penalty, which is hanging them. But the truth is that for how long will this continue? And it's also a failure from our legal system, from our lawyers and Nigerian Bar Association in general. Because I believe that these are some of the issues that Nigerian Bar Association should be protesting. This is enough for them to actually go on strike. Because there's a need for us to correct these anomalies. Because we cannot continue like this. What is the crime of this man? He's only expressing his opinion, and which is also his right under the Constitution. I don't understand. And I don't know how long we'll continue like this.
Thanks for calling us, Chika. Good afternoon. Yisa is in Lekki. Hello, Yisa. Thanks for calling.
I'm fine. The first-time caller.
Yes, welcome.
Oh, yeah, it's the issue of the Sharia law. The issue of Sharia law, what they did is right, because it's not all the part of the country this is happening. It's only people that believe in the Islam religion this is happening to them.
But Sharia law also punishes apostasy.
Yes, because the Sharia law uses Quran, and that's what the Quran says. But if the guy can take it to any court, he can be win. But he believes that, yes, what he did is wrong. And he accepted that, yes, what I did is wrong. Because that's what the says of the Quran. You don't have to abide by what the Quran says.
Okay. What? So do you think? Let's assume, but not concede that you are correct. Do you think that blasphemy is punishable by death? Do you think what this man did is punishable by death?
Yes. But if he says that, yes, I blast Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the thing is that I'm out of Islam. I did not believe with the Quran. Yeah, he can be free. It's not that it's something that you believe in. It's not something that they force you into.
But there are people who are punished, who are accused of blasphemy when they say they want to leave Islam.
No, it's not. All these things is not happening in the north. It's just that people are misunderstanding.
Okay. Help us understand. Help us understand. Are there Muslims? Are there people who advocate punishing a Muslim who wants to leave Islam? Are there people who do that?
No. Today, as I'm a Muslim today, I can decide not to be a Muslim today, and no one will punish me for that.
I see.
It's for my own decision to be at the religion or not to be.
I see.
You can decide to do all the religions you want to. There is not any punishment by me saying that today I cannot be an Islam person. I can decide to say that today I don't have religion.
But there's
And no
currently
one force you.
there's currently a Nigerian man who is in prison, and people are calling for his death because he denounced Islam and said that he was an atheist. Did you follow that story?
No, I didn't. But you know that sometimes people misunderstand. That's why they say that there is much people that they believe that they are Islam, but they are not Islam. They are out of Islam because they do everything. That's why they say that there is educated illiterate and illiterate educated.
I see.
Sometimes it's not by reading, yeah.
But in your opinion, if a Muslim believes in Islam and subject themselves to the laws of Islam, then they should be executed if they blaspheme, right?
Yeah. That's what the Quran says. But the thing is that it's not force. It's not a force something. It's not. They need to ask him two questions. Are you still in Islam or you're out of Islam that you did that? Now, there is Christian in North. You can abuse Islam. No one can punish you for that.
That's
because
not true.
That's your own preaching field. Yes. My part, I'm from Gombe State. Most of my part people are Christian from Iliri local government.
No, it is true that there are Christians in the north.
Yeah.
But I've covered a number of stories of Christians saying uncomplimentary things about Islam and being punished for it. It's not true to say that they're not punished for it.
It's people that I tell you, it's the people that they are misconduct. And it's the people that maybe they feel like I'm in Islam, while it's not that they are acting as Muslim. The real Muslim cannot just take something to kill a person because you say so.
But it's the real Muslims who are about to kill this man for singing a song.
Yes, this one is by the law, and is have read by the law. He can be appealed to any court that me, I don't want this punishment, and this punishment is too overreact. He can be appealed by the Constitution of Nigeria because the Constitution has says yes, you can appeal, and if you can get a lawyer, he can win out of the Sharia law.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
He can appeal to any court, but if in Islam, what they did is the right thing. It's not that they process him, and now the law he abide by it. That's what says. But today I can say that too. I can have a lawyer go to any court of maybe that follows the Constitution. Okay. They can fight his right or go to human right. There is so many these things that they can fight for his right.
Okay.
But it's just that the human rights now cannot come into the district because even him, he accepted that what I did is wrong. But if he did not accept it, no one can force him. Says that yes, you can be punished by that.
Okay. All right, Chisa.
Yes, he accepted it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. I appreciate that. We've got Martins in Surulere. I don't know if you're still on the line. Hello, Martins. Well, he's not there anymore. All right, let me go to WhatsApp where we've got a few comments. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. If you just joined the show, a man in Kano has been sentenced to death for blasphemy. That's our first story. His name is Yahaya Sharif Aminu. He's a musician. He sings religious music, Tijaniya music. It's a sect in Islam. Tijaniya is a sect in Islam. And he wrote a song that praised a particular Tijaniya imam. And in that song, he He praised the Imam as being greater than the Prophet, and some Muslims were so outraged by this, they protested in March. The protesters burned his family house down, demanded that the Hizbah arrest him. The Hizbah is the security force that enforces Sharia law, and the Hizbah arrested him, and he was taken to a Sharia court, and he was charged with blasphemy. And now he's been found guilty, and he's been sentenced to death. Now, like I said when we started this conversation, Sharia sentences can be appealed to the secular court of appeal. I also told you that even though there have been a lot of death sentences passed under Sharia law, only one has ever been carried out. That's because you can execute somebody, but a state governor still needs to sign it. And a lot of state governors are very reluctant about signing death sentences. So I started the show by telling you that this man, this 22-year-old man, will probably not die. So that's our first story. And the question I'm asking with this story is what you think about this man's situation. What do you think about blasphemy being punishable by death? What do you think about blasphemy being punishable at all? And when a legal code clashes with the Constitution, what should happen? That question came up because you have to remember that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Any law code must conform to the Constitution. And the Constitution says that Nigerians have freedom of expression. And I told you that before the show. I spoke with lawyers who told me that you cannot sentence a man for expressing an opinion, no matter how offensive that opinion is to somebody else or to somebody's religion. They say that that freedom of expression protects your right for all kinds of expression. And so these lawyers think that nobody should be named a criminal for blaspheming, to say nothing of being killed. So should Sharia courts be able to enforce Sharia criminal laws? That's even the bigger constitutional issue. Because if the Constitution says that an activity is okay, how can another law call it illegal? Now, you heard our caller who called into the show earlier on, Yisu. And Yisu said, well, if this man says he is a Muslim, that under the Sharia, and since this thing doesn't apply to the entire country, and it applies only to Muslims, and Muslims have accepted this religion, they've accepted the Sharia law. So any punishment that the Sharia law carries isn't a violation of their rights, because they willingly give up their rights. And just like I asked that guy when he was on the phone, I said that why does Sharia still punish apostasy? Apostasy is when somebody leaves their religion, and under Sharia, it is illegal for a Muslim to leave, even though Jesus says, no, it's not illegal for somebody to leave. But there's currently a case in Nigeria where a young man confessed that he was an atheist, and people are calling for his own execution as well. So it's a lot, really. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on there as well. So get online, get on Facebook as well, and share with me what you think about this story. We still have two more stories coming up on today's Big Three. We're going to talk about how the police extorted a young man who was taking his mother to the hospital. We're also going to talk about the Chrisland, or is it Chrisland or Chrisland? The Chrisland school rape case. That story is back in the news. I'll tell you why in a bit.
Stay right here on the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three.
The Big Three. On Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. It's almost 3:30. You are listening to The Big Three. We've got comments here, and this person says, religion of Islam is a choice. The Northern are just religion fanatics. Nowhere in Quran do you find such. It's only evil stories, evil story books and Bible laws that they are ignorantly applying. Gafaru Afiz Ayinla says, all right, Gafaru, thank you for sending your message in. We've got this person who says, Sandra, I would like to address this issue without any form of rancor, schisms, or vilification. I'm a devoted Muslim, and I know what it is when you uttered negatively about the Prophet Muhammad. I believe the man in question, Yahya, lacks proper Islamic orientation, which made him act in that way. But nevertheless, his action should not be equitable to death. I see that as an idea of extremism. Truly, his actions is against Islamic creed, but death is not the next thing. He should be corrected, not killed. Fatima from Shagamu says, hello, Sandra. It's very ridiculous. But anyway, since the Muslims themselves are not complaining, is it that as a Muslim, one cannot express him or herself? What are the lawyers doing to salvage this situation? Edozie Dean in Naji is asking. Well, some Muslims are complaining, actually. Well, I've seen a few complaints on social media, at least. We've got a comment here. I think in Nigeria, some sections of the country are operating as if they are in a different country from the rest of us, and it's disheartening and confusing. What is really playing out in the northern part of the country? Chika Bende from Trade Fair says. Wale says, any religion that is able to kill because of blasphemy, don't do that. We've got Fejiro from Wari who says, it's like the Muslims are now doing things their own way instead of what is allowed by the Nigerian constitution. Okay. We've got Jasmine who says, oh no, hold on. Chukwudi Urapa first. Chukwudi says, to those who don't believe in a higher power, the notion of blasphemy seems frivolous and ridiculous. Sharia implementing states should check the activities of Hizbah and other quasi-Sharia policing organs in the region. These groups are spreading Islam-based hatred, fear, and intolerance. Going by these recent developments in northern Nigeria, I ask, is Sharia implementation desirable in today's Nigeria? Back to that message from Jasmine. Jasmine says, I thought I would see Arawa Twitter talk differently, but they are all defending this man's death. It is not just Nigeria, it is worldwide. How can one religion be so deadly and it is tolerated worldwide? This is why sometimes I support people who say religion is the problem of the world. Religion is indeed the problem of the world, Sandra. I feel like crying that human life means nothing to these people. One religion will hang people for blasphemy. They are allowed to marry children and also form terrorist colonies to bomb non-believers. This is not a religion. And someone even called to say Quran supports murder for blasphemy. What audacity. It's human life we're talking about, not a cow or a camel. All right, Jasmine, thank you for sending your message in. I would ask that we still stay respectful because it is a people's religion we're talking about. Let's move on to our second story, police extorting citizens. We've been hearing a lot of these stories, not be today. This particular story, we've heard a version of this over and over and over and over. I'm sure that when you call me, you're going to have even more stories of police officers extorting you or extorting your loved ones. It's a pandemic at this point. This particular story, somebody shared it on Twitter. His name is Adebola. Adebola's mother was very sick. So he and his brother put her in their sister's car and they were driving her to the hospital. The police stopped them, accused them of being Yahoo boys, took their phones, went through their phones for so-called evidence, harassed them for driving a car that wasn't in their name, even though they could see the sick woman in the car. And then they took them somewhere else, and after 30 minutes, they saw that one of the guy had a credit alert for 1.2 naira. They now decided that was a proof of fraud. The man tried to explain that he was a legitimate trader. He showed them the chats of his transactions that led to the payment. They said, "Now, wow, no way," that the guy must pay them. Eventually, out of fear, Adebola and his brother agreed. The police took them to a POS operator and made them withdraw 300,000 naira. They insisted on withdrawal because transfers can be traced. And then they made them record a video confessing to be Yahoo boys as insurance. Now, Adebola came to Twitter and he said everything, and the police command saw it, and the police command reached out to him. And now he's back on Twitter and he says that the police have returned their money, and there's no word yet about whether the guilty officers were caught or were punished. Like I said, we hear stories like this all the time. Except for the part where the money was returned. That one was a new one. I guess that one happened because Adebola went public and lots of people saw the tweets and it went viral. The police command was forced to act. But you have to ask if that is what every Nigerian now has to do to survive police extortion. Is that what we all have to do now? Do we all have to come on Twitter to raise an alarm? 0700-993-993-993. If the police command are serious about stamping this police extortion thing out, what action should they be taking? Are there root causes that we should be looking at? The things that cause police extortion, are there things that we should be addressing? Have you had an experience with police extortion? Have you seen this move with the POS? Have you been picked up and they made you pay them using a POS somewhere? Anonymous is on the line.
Hello?
Anonymous is in Ikorodu. Hello, sir. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
You're
Hello.
live on the show. Hi, how are you?
So, ma, please, I want you to take immediate drastic action. Say, if they talk about one person when they want to execute a date, in the Omigo Phase 2, Omigo Phase 1, it could do not local government area environment, where they want to execute. They want to kill more than 2,000 families, 2,000 members of families. More than 300 houses they want to pull down. When these people, when they buy that land, there was no green gate and the government scheme that place. When human beings don't suffer for Nigeria, suffer more than Chinchi, more than whatever, suffer. In other countries of the world, government, they give house free, they give medical free, they give this, not before.
Anonymous, unfortunately, you're talking about something entirely different from what we're talking about. If you have an eyewitness account to share with us, I recommend that you send it to me via WhatsApp, or you wait until Thursday to talk to us about it, or send an email to sandra@nigeriainfo.fm. I'm sorry, but I cannot let you derail the conversation. Sandra@nigeriainfo.fm so that we can talk. I've got another anonymous caller from Igondo. How are you? What's your name? Well, you're anonymous. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I want to say that the young man, police did not return the money to the young man.
Okay.
Nigerian police cannot return that money.
Okay.
It's because of threat to his life. That's why he said that they returned the money. They did not return it.
Okay.
And what Nigerian police is doing to citizens of this country, it's only God that will save us. Do you know that if you go to Alaba International and buy something with your receipt, police will collect the receipt from you and demand the money before they will release the receipt. So nobody returned that money. They didn't return it. It's a threat to his life that made him to claim that they returned the money. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Anonymous, for calling. We appreciate it. 99.3.
Hello?
Thanks for calling. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Ifeanyi.
Ifeanyi. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah. You won't believe exactly what you are saying. A business center operator was just telling me yesterday that the way he receives money for police, all this kind of money. In fact, he told me that he has received 1 million. He has received 1.2. He has received too many money for police. You won't believe what is happening. Oh, he's a business that is close to a police station. When they have those kind of deals, they come to him to use his POS, or sometimes he keeps money for them. So these things are real. They happen. They are very real. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifeanyi, for calling us. Anonymous. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
God bless you.
Bless you as well.
All this is happening in Nigeria now. No one is doing anything. Now, tell me, what is the future of this country? If the police that is believed to have to be on a duty to protect Nigerians and properties, they are now, in police uniform. Is that not robbery people in the uniform? Talk out loud. What is the destiny? I mean, the integrity of this country. So where is it now? What are we doing? This keep on happening every day. And we're the president of this country. We're an IG in this country. Each time you see these things happening, you believe any police officer that comes from a division, the DPS knows about it. They pay in return. DPS pays in return to commissioner. Area command. You know these things. Why is it like this now? I would not ashamed for ourselves. We should be ashamed for ourselves now in this country. In fact, very painful.
Thanks for calling us. Good afternoon. Hi, Sandra. There was nowhere in the Quran where blasphemy was to be punished by death. Quran 6 verse 108 says, "And do not insult those they invoke other than Allah, lest they insult Allah in enmity without knowledge. Thus we have made pleasing to every community their deeds. Then to their Lord is their return, and he will inform them about what they used to do." You can Google Islam and blasphemy for some more details. Kolawole says. Kolawole, thank you for sending your message in. Kayode Oduekun from Ijebode says, "I believe that God should be allowed to defend himself. Islam is supposed to be a religion of peace. This extreme killing should not be an option. All these things are a product of ignorance and overreaction in order to protect or defend God. God did not ask you to defend him because you cannot defend God." We've got more people sending us messages. This one's on Facebook now. This one says, "The day you start fighting for your God, you simply became a God to your God. Elections will come and go. We're not going to go and vote. Protests will be organized. We will not show up. Politicians we ought to be fighting, we are hailing them and kicking with them. But if not blasphemy, madness." Thanks for sending your message in. John Awoke says, "Blasphemy in Kano shows Nigeria we are not one country. It's a big shame to those who say that one Nigeria is North Sharia law in operation, while Southern Nigeria..." That's a lot of rambling. I'm not understanding what you're trying to say. This person says, "There's freedom of expression." This is a message from Raphael Oribi, who says, "There's freedom of expression, but there's a limit to that. On such an issue, sentencing someone to death, I'm against that, but he or she can be sued on such an issue like this. For blasphemy, you should sue somebody and waste the court's time and waste taxpayer money for blasphemy because somebody said something uncomplimentary about God." Okay. Onyaka Chicken Michael says, "Sometimes I wonder how Islam is called a religion of peace." We've got Prince Ibe who says, okay, a lot of the messages you're sending to me on social media are very, very inflammatory. Emmanuel Mary says, "The man who just spoke with you is speaking complete lies. I have a Facebook friend who told me that he wants to become a Christian, but his people want to kill him." Okay. Let me go back to our phone lines. The people who are calling on air are much nicer than those of you who are leaving messages on social media. Honestly, it's insane. Peter, hello. How are you? Peter is not there anymore. I think that's my cue to move on to our final story on the show today. The mother of that 2-year-old girl who was raped by school staff has spoken out. That's our third story. We can't say her name because that will reveal the identity of her daughter. But of course, you know that this happened at Chrisland School. Chrisland School 4 years ago, when her daughter was almost 3, told her mother that a man in the school was putting his wee-wee in her wee-wee. And the more questions that she asked the baby, the more details she got. And then she realized that her poor baby was being routinely raped. And not just her, another pupil as well. So she reported to the school. And the school asked for some time to investigate. But the school did not investigate. They did not get back to her at first. And when they finally did, according to her, they now started asking her how much she would take to agree to let the matter die. And she was looking at them like, are you okay? My daughter has been raped. You think I want money? And so she started going to the school herself to ask questions. And according to her, the school instructed staff not to speak to her. She said, quote, "The teachers turned me into an enemy. As soon as they saw me in the school on my way to speak with the head teacher, they would set security guards to start following me around. They wouldn't even respond to my greetings." Her own words. Now, I want to know what you think about that. A mother reporting the rape of her child in school, and the school trying to pay her off and refusing to speak to her. So finally, she went to the police. They arrested the rapist. He was tried, he was found guilty, and he's been sentenced to jail for a long, long time, which makes me very, very happy. And she's saying that the mother of this girl, this girl who was 2 years old at that time, she's saying that at no point in that ordeal did the school attempt to stand by her and her daughter. Now, remember that when a child is in school, the school authorities are responsible for that child's safety. In some other countries, Seth, she can sue that school for negligence. This woman said something that hit me. She said that the school was the only place where she couldn't monitor her children herself. She said when she got pregnant with her first child, she resigned from work so that she could care for her children. She said when they go to church, she teaches in Sunday school so that she can watch her children. She says she follows them when they go outside to play. The only place where she didn't watch over them was school. But she was okay with that because, quote, "I trusted the school. I gave you my child to care for. With all due respect, I didn't expect you to let anyone take her out of the class. I trusted Chrisland so much. That was why my kids attended the school in the first place. We trusted them with our most prized possession. We were living in our own nightmare. We never imagined that this could happen to our daughter. We were not careless with watching or protecting our children at all. In our wildest dreams, we never thought our daughter could be abused in school, the one place that we could not follow her to." So I need you to help me put mouth here, Lagos. What do you think about what this mom had to say? What do you say about the idea that the school did not help her when she brought the complaint, that instead they tried to pay her off? And when she pressed on, they became hostile to her. Why are so many people who should know better ready to protect and defend rapists who are close to them at the expense of children? This girl was 2 years old at the time, going on 3. That man was almost 60. And the school wanted to protect the man. In fact, not wanted to, the school protected the man. 0700-993-993-993. You can send a WhatsApp message. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. We've got this person who says, "I have been extorted twice. The first time for taking pictures at a bus stop. I was taken to a police station, detained for 1 day, and made to pay 15K as bail. That was last year at Ilasan police station. The second time was Friday evening on my way home. I bought a car from a car service that I don't want to mention on radio. I got to Trinity House on Uru, where there was a roadblock by the police, and they demanded for the car particulars. I gave them all the particulars. They asked for the receipt of the car. When I gave it to them, it was complete, and they asked for the tint permit. I told them I just bought the car and I was on my way from the car stand, as they can see in the receipt. But the policeman said I was speaking English and I have to pay for wasting their time. I told them I did not have cash, but they insisted we go to an ATM. I didn't want to follow them to an ATM, so I had to remove cash for an envelope from an association where I am the cashier, and I settled them with 10K before they let me go. Wow. Sandra, I enjoyed every bit of your explosive chat with Madam Aisha Yesufu yesterday. She rightly pointed out that as a people, whilst we tend to fight for God, we push our own fight to Him in the form of prayers. I think that death sentence is archaic, barbaric, and violent under any pretext. Sandra, that part of the law should be repealed. It is a mere form of godliness with no substance whatsoever. Soji from thanks for sending a message in. We've got Michelle who says, let us not jump because the school never supported. Let's find out and get to the root of it. It could be an issue of the woman being overprotective. We have heard from the woman. Let's hear from the school also. Then we can judge. I want to conk you on your head, but thank you for sending your message in. We've got this person who says, Sandra, on the 8th of June, I carried out an investigation into this painful happening. I asked a staff in a higher cadre of the school, and this was her reply. She replied saying that the man was framed into that nonsense by a parent. She succeeded and left the country, but our God is not asleep. The response is not mine, but that of the staff. Chukwudi Rakba is saying the man was framed. Okay. Good afternoon, Sandra. Sandra, what will happen to someone who says unholy things about God if one is served death sentence for saying ill of a prophet? Now, their delivery of justice has placed their prophet above or equal to God. Madness. Olatumbosu, thanks for sending your message in. We've got more people here. When Christians perpetrate evil, Muslims never condemn Christianity. But when some evil men who are supposed to be Muslims are caught wanting, you condemn Islam instead of the people. To me, that's hypocrisy. Ibrahim from Lagos Island says. Ibrahim, I agree with you. We need more radio stations in the north to educate them on religious issues. They should not take the law into their own hands. Simon from Abulegba says. Yeah, but that's the thing. They're not taking the law into their own hands. They have laws that guard them. They have laws that they've created for themselves. Someone says, Nelly says, Sandra, did somebody just say that the woman was being overprotective? Yes, somebody said that. Good afternoon, Sandra. I fear for this world. We are in a wicked system. Yomi from Otta says. Yomi, thanks for sending your message in. I know I'm pronouncing your names wrong, but I swear I'm going to get it right. I will do my best to get it right. 99.3. Hello?
Hello, Sandra.
How are you?
Not obvious, Ezekwesili. How are you, Sandra? Long time.
Long time. What's your name?
You have Chukwebuka on the line.
Good to have you on the show, Chukwebuka. Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, Sandra, I don't like dabbling into religious matters. But for me, whatever happens, it's not justified in any way at all. And people should learn to stay away from using words that are not okay, even when preaching, no matter the sect or religion, you belong to. That aside. And for the woman, I'm surprised somebody said the woman is being protected or somebody was framed. How on earth could people come up to say that kind of a thing, Sandra? What you see, sometimes because this thing has not happened to us or to people close to us, our family members, we keep talking. I don't know how somebody would take it. If you have a 2-year-old child and she's been abused by a man of that age, how could it be a lie in the first place? How possible? It can't even be a lie. And the school tries to protect. For the fact, you see, it's just because the woman is a very disciplined woman that values her child more than money. Somebody else may have fallen for that. why would the school want to protect the name of the school, their names, and then the man? It is because the woman is fearless. There are many voiceless women out there, many voiceless people out there that have been intimidated. But I believe God for one thing, they will never go scot-free. Whether they are caught here or they leave, they will never ever go scot-free. Thank you, Sandra. That was my take.
Thank you, Chukwebuka, for calling me. Chris is in Okoko. Michael. Hello, Chris. You're my last call.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My dear sister, honestly, just like the other caller said, it's quite a painful thing for me, honestly, and also surprising because I have always asked this very question. I have this lawyer friend of mine, though she's still a law student. The last time I had a chat with her, we were arguing it. She presented a book for me, and the book, I just saw the code of the book. It was written a penal code and a criminal code. So, and when I went through it, I discovered that, some part of the country, they practice one special part of law, while the other part of the country, use another part of law in a defense federation. It's quite a thing. It's appalling for me. This is what, in my own understanding, this is what former governor of Zamfara, Yerima, succeeded in, bringing to the northern part of the country. That's why, people are now, posting, posing a shadow above
Hello? Hello? Oh, I'm so sorry. We've got Wasiu on Twitter who says, truly, I believe he committed an offense that is punishable, but he shouldn't be given such a huge penalty for that. And besides, our constitution does not support Sharia law, so I don't see where this is coming from and why it should stand. Death shouldn't be the punishment for that. Now, one day, you and I will have a conversation on this show, about whether people should be punished for saying uncomplimentary things about, number one, religious leaders, number two, God. When people insult your pastors or insult Jesus or insult God, do you think they should be punished, period? Whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, do you think they should be punished for doing that? That's number one. And then we can now move that conversation to what kind of punishment. Because that's where the conversation should begin, I think. Because here we have somebody saying, I believe he committed a punishable offense, blasphemy, in 2020. Okay. Southeast Mafia says, the situation is really dicey, but my own issue concerning Sharia law within the North is it is only the ordinary people, whereas the elites and their children are not included in various northern laws. I think the state government should intervene. Austin Kajime says, nobody needs to be killed for blasphemy. If their God is alive and angry, let him fight. All I can say is that the police top orgas are involved in this police extortion. Otherwise, they would have stopped this barbaric thing long ago. And then he says, keen attention needs to be paid to our children. Ezino Zodima says, it's a pity that some of us are fanatics when it comes to religion. Why should blasphemy be a death sentence? A lot of people blaspheme about God but haven't been killed. When did that one start? We've got Oyo James who says, does Sharia law supersede the Nigerian constitution? Sharia law is not applicable in Dollar Governor's case. Is Sharia law only for the northern poor? Yemi Daniel says, it's apparent that personnel of police are the armed robbers that we now have around. Good afternoon, Sandra. No Sharia law supports the punishment of anybody who leaves Islam. Aremu is telling me on Twitter. He says, there's no compulsion in Islam. There's freedom of religion as ordained by the Quran. Your name is Daudu from Ayobo. Okay. I recommend that you all go and look up the story of that young man. I don't remember his name right now, but I will remember and I will share it with you. Who was punished because he was arrested, actually, because he confessed that he was an atheist. I'm not making it up. True story. I'll think of his name and I'm going to share it on the show. Coming up is Community U Report. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. We're going to talk about Uber and Bolt drivers who now have to pay a new kind of service charge to the Lagos state government. Don't go away.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.